Hi, I'm Anita Redding, Managing Editor of the Stigler News Sentinel. Today we're speaking with Sheriff Tim Turner. We've asked him to stop by and talk about two issues that are affecting Haskell County. The first issue is State Question 780, which became effective on July 1. Sheriff Turner, thanks for coming by today. And I'd like to just ask you, how will State Question 780 affect Haskell County?
Anita, first we'd like to thank you for having us come by. We always enjoy stopping in and visiting. State Question 780 is going to be a huge effect on Haskell County, and not just Haskell County, rural Oklahoma in general. What we've done with State Question 780 is we have made all possession crimes a misdemeanor across the board, meaning a first arrest or a 100th arrest for possession of methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine, any of the pills, oxycodone, roxycodone, hydromorphone. If you possess it and it's just a simple possession, it's a misdemeanor across the board. What they did is they used State Question 780 to use it as a criminal justice reform that was put on a ballot by people of Oklahoma, and it was voted on by citizens of Oklahoma. Now, with that being said, only 7 out of 77 counties passed State Question 780, but because of several of the 7, the population numbers was so high to get it over the 50% needed to come into play to make it a law as of July 1. What we are going to see in Haskell County is 90% of our drug arrests are simple possession arrests. Those simple possession arrests, the offenders are also the folks that are out here stealing. They're also the folks that are out here stealing from their families, and they are usually repeat offenders. So instead of those offenders qualifying for a drug court program, community sentencing program, or some sort of inpatient rehabilitation, we now charge them with a misdemeanor, and they don't qualify for community sentencing or drug court. So what we're going to see is those offenders will eventually be placed for the maximum 1-year sentence that a misdemeanor allows in the Haskell County Criminal Justice Center. Once we do that, 781 was supposed to put a funding mechanism in to help fund that. We have been made aware that legislation has passed an amendment to 781 that puts that funding source back into the Oklahoma Department of Health, and they choose where the money is distributed. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be paying approximately $36 to $38 a day per inmate that is sentenced here without any financial repercussions from the state for those offenders being housed. The other thing is those offenders are not going to seek rehabilitation for a misdemeanor crime. Not with only the substance problems that we're going to have, the substance abuse problem or the possession problem, we've also made it a misdemeanor to possess or to steal property in an amount of $1,000 or less. So if somebody comes and steals property and the property they steal is less than $1,000, unless they've broken into your house like a burglary, but if it's just a larceny, it has to be over $1,000 to make it a felony. So what we have is it takes a lot of property a lot of times to make it $1,000. So that's just a misdemeanor. In another case, another situation that we work quite frequently is false declaration to a pawnbroker, meaning these possessors, these abusers, offenders that are abusers of controlled substances, when they steal an item, they usually give that item to somebody else for the drugs they're seeking, or they'll take it themselves to a pawn shop. Once they take that item to a pawn shop, they pawn it. Well, it's no longer illegal to pawn stolen property. What we used to be able to show is we might not be able to show that the offender knew the property was stolen, but we could show that the offender knew the property they were pawning was not their property, and that was a felony. And we were able to start the process of getting them rehabilitated and getting them back productive into society. And we don't have that statute anymore. Our biggest concern is I'm an advocate for criminal justice reform. I know that our prison systems are overcrowded. I know that we do put people in prison that are drug abusers, and when they get out, they become more intelligent about the situation. And we do need to figure out a way to help folks that are users become productive back into society. But what this reform group, what they decided to do was they decided to tell folks that people go to prison for possession of drugs. Well, they do, but it's not their first offense. It's usually not their second offense. It's their third and fourth offense. Especially my 10 years in Haskell County, what we normally do is a first offense, they'll get a deferred sentence. Their second offense, they'll usually get a suspended sentence. Then their second or third, they might get drug court. They might get rehabilitation. It's usually the third or fourth offense before an offender actually goes to prison for possessing drugs. So it's going to be a big burden on our county. It's a big burden on law enforcement in a whole, because folks are now bonding out quicker than reports get done for possession of methamphetamine. We're seeing folks get arrested, bond out, and we know that user is going to go and look again for more drugs. So I can tell you that the 780 is not going to affect Haskell County Sheriff's Department. We're going forward. We're going to continue to put drug users, drug dealers in jail, and we're going to continue with the legal system to fight to fix this problem, to make sure the citizens of Haskell County are safe.
Okay. What would you like to see happen with the state question?
I would like to see the state question 780 repealed, and maybe a group of senior law enforcement, senior sheriffs, state agencies, OBN, OHP, and different state agencies, along with police chiefs and sheriffs, put together a coalition or a group together, and get with this group out of Oklahoma City, this Right on Crime group, and see what we could come up with collectively together to make sure that our citizens are safe, to make sure that users are being rehabilitated and getting the help they need, but also make sure that the people know that, and I say the people, the offenders know that if you possess drugs in Oklahoma, that you still have the possibility of going to prison. Because right now the way it sets is anything less than 19 grams is a misdemeanor unless you can show with intent to distribute. So, 19 grams is a lot of methamphetamine. 19 grams is a lot of heroin. So unless you meet that trafficking element, which would be 20 grams, it's an issue in Oklahoma. And hopefully we can get a group of folks together to continue the right direction and get this thing back on the right track.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to talk to you just for a minute about another issue in Haskell County. I understand that the number of cases filed in district court has increased significantly. Can you tell me what's going on?
I would like to say it's just a proactive approach to making sure our citizens are safe. I've spoke with Chief Dixon, Chief Oliver in McCurtain, Chief Martin in Keota. Everybody's cases are high. I don't think that crime's increasing. I think the proactive approach that the Haskell County Sheriff's Office is taking in the collective working arrangements that we have with all of our local police departments and our state agencies is showing that it's a proactive approach, and we're just being seen, and when we're being seen, we're able to solve more crimes, we're able to see more crimes, which in return brings case numbers up and puts offenders in jail.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'd like to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and additional information about State Question 780 and some comments from Sheriff Turner are in this week's paper, which is on stands now. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.